Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream for the Portuguese Grand Prix, the 2021 Portuguese Grand Prix, getting underway at 3 o'clock. But we've got so much information to build you up to the race. I'll be joined by Charlie Tolhurst in a few moments' time, and we will bring you live updates from Portimao as it comes in. So, Valtteri Bottas qualified on pole alongside teammate Lewis Hamilton from Max Verstappen in third, who had his lap time deleted in Q3. His first lap time was deleted for exceeding track limits at turn 4. So at Portimao, the second time we've been here. We came here in 2020 for the first Portuguese Grand Prix in over 20 years. So, yeah, it's fantastic to be back here at Portimao for a second year running, and hopefully we can make it a permanent feature on the Formula One calendar from now on. But first of all, I'm going to actually read your reaction. Keep the comments coming in, actually. Comments coming in. We'll get through them as much as we can. But I'm going to try and get through some of your Twitter comments that you sent into us. Hashtag Portuguese Grand Prix. Alpha Mir say we excited. Are you? Yes, I will. Someone saying I will miss Danny. Yes. Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT, by the way. Argue with your mom. I guess that's some kind of joke thing. What lap will I fall asleep? Wait, does that person fall asleep during the race? How they manage to do that? How can you fall asleep during the Portuguese Grand Prix? Adrian Newey starting at the McLaren on the grid. That means they are doing something right. Yeah, it does. George Russell said Barcelona's. Well, we can't say that actually. Let's see. Really important to have confidence in grip. And Lewis in front. Someone said the race started already. Nope, it has not. Someone said Toto Wolff when told what Helmut Marko said after qualifying the Mercedes squad stopping Max. Grumpy doctor is apparently what Toto Wolff said to Helmut Marko after that. Someone said, why did that car just go in the pits? I think they were doing a practice start. So Owen Davis says, you got this, Daniel Ricciardo, from the starting P16. That's a surprise from yesterday's qualifying. Some F1 networks say not throwing hate towards Max, completely normal human reaction, but imagine how the F1 community would react if Lewis missed pole and did this. Aston Martin saying, let's get this. Prophet tried to make it to the grid without blowing up, please. Yes. Someone said this last night. Why does IndyCar race on a track with a surface that is literally like ice to them? Yes, they. It was like ice at last night's IndyCar. And someone said, I don't know which Sky F1 presenter needs to hear this, but Lando Norris's recent success is unrelated to the amount of hours he streamed on Twitch over the winter break. Don't forget us, tweet us, hashtag Portuguese Grand Prix. We will try and get through as many as we possibly can. AF21 appreciation post. But Petronas say, all right, team, buckle up. The hashtag Portuguese GP is almost here. Make sure you can send Petronas your send your hashtag Petronas Motorsports Lovers at Mercedes-AMG F1. Prepare for showtime. Yes, they do. We're all preparing for showtime. That is not that far away. McLaren say we're racing very soon. Yes, we are. 21 minutes time, in fact. Autosport Live say, hello, everyone. It's almost time. Just 25 minutes until lights out. The Algarve International Circuit head of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Formula One tweeted, grid forming, excitement building. Yes, the excitement certainly is building. Alpine F1 team say drivers on the grid, final chats well underway. Ferrari are saying to the track, and F1 has also said all eyes on Valtteri Bottas as the pole sitter heads out to the circuit. And they said a little while ago, light screen cars on track. We're seeing pictures of Michael Massey now chatting to Toto Wolff. Honda Racing F1 say time to get to work. Let's hear your support for the boys. Someone saying, Max, you got this. Go Honda. Let's do this. Good luck, and let's bring those cups home. Enjoy lots of greets. Enjoy lots of greets from me. The power of dreams. Hashtag power by Honda. Let's read some replies to the Alpine F1 team post. Are you guys ready? Yes, the Alpine team certainly is ready. Tear it up. Always love this. Yes, we always love the Alpine F1 team's post. Right, let's have a look at who replied to Valtteri Bottas. People need to put some respect on his. We'll probably have a terrible start as per usual. Still got pole, someone said. A good achievement. People slating him for getting pole in the mark. Well, the Red Bull was mighty quick this week. And we will continue reading out some of the posts later on then. We're almost ready for the national anthems at Portugal, and we'll let you enjoy those as Lewis Hamilton is on the scooter as usual, scooting to the front of the grid. So just over 15 minutes time. 35 lap times got deleted in FP1 alone. But it's time for Formula One's end race system.
It's as a sport, but we all race for something bigger. It's time we race for equality. It's time we race for sustainability. It's time we race to be global citizens. It's time we race for equal access, opportunities, and representation.
Because sport can change the world, but it's up to us to make sure that change is for the better.
United, we are stronger. Change starts with you. It needs to come from your heart. Keep working, keep learning, keep on understanding. We have a platform to shift change, starting little by little. Boy or girl, man or woman, united for the same causes. We have the opportunity to spread the right message.
If we all pull together, every single person has responsibility.
The best example is our own example.
We need to be responsible on what kind of mark we leave.
We don't have all the answers yet, but we can help find them. Change starts here. We race, we race,
we race,
we race, we race,
we race
as one.
Drivers United, sustainability.
Drivers United, sustainability in sport. We race as one. Okay, thank you very much for that. It's now time for the national anthem of Portugal, which is coming up very, very soon. Approaching 2:45 local time at Portugal. 2:45 same time zone here in the UK. Who's going to take victory? Let us know in the comments. But it's time for the national anthem of Portugal.
Heróis do mar, nobre povo, nação valente e imortal, levantai hoje de novo o esplendor de Portugal. Entre as brumas da memória, ó pátria, sente-se a voz dos teus igrejos amor, que há de guiar-te à vitória. As armas sobre a terra e sobre o mar. As armas pela pátria lutar, contra os canhões marchar.
The national anthem of Portugal there as the Portuguese Air Force conducts the fly past down the pitch straight here at Portimao. The Portuguese national anthem ringing around the Algarve this afternoon. What a national anthem that was. That national anthem just always brings. We're going to listen to Lewis Hamilton now.
Well, it's been really difficult all the days we've had wind in the afternoon. And it means that obviously in some places you have a headwind, some places a crosswind, and in other places a big tailwind. And there's big gusts of up to like 30 kilometers an hour. So it makes it really tricky that's why qualifying was so difficult, just trying to find the right balance.
We just need to try and have a good start, and from there we'll see how competitive we're going to be against them. But yeah, I hope it's going to be exciting.
I feel good. I think it's going to be a difficult race. I think strategy-wise is not the most exciting. Because these tires, like for example, the hard tire can do a race distance and a half or something like that, so they're far too hard. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be interesting opportunities as the race unfolds. Hopefully it's exciting for the fans.
You've got a great launch of the line last weekend. Is that in your mind today, or is it because it's dry here and it's probably going to be a bit different?
There are never any guarantees, so every single weekend you have to do it again, and yeah, we'll try to have a good one again.
So Lewis Hamilton saying that the hard tyres can do a race distance and a half then. Is that a bit too far for our liking? We'll have to wait and see. I think the strategic battle is going to be when you pit. Do you do the undercut? Is the overcut possible at Portugal? I think the overcut's probably more likely going to work getting tyres up to temperature on this relatively new surface that was laid just about 6 months ago. So it's a relatively new surface. It will take time, especially to get the tyres up to temperature. But anyway, we're almost ready for lights out in about 13 minutes time. 3 o'clock, a slightly later start compared to usual. Because of Portugal being the same time zone as here in the UK, we're getting underway at 3 p.m. The grid looking very, very busy at the moment. They'll start to clearing that very soon. They're packing away all of the like stickers where the drivers stand. That's all going now. And then once they all go, everyone will be ready and raring to go racing in Portugal. Once again, I'm going to try and get you some latest news. I'm just going to check up on the news report, and here's the 500 more. And it's also the 500th race start for a Mercedes power car. 500th race start for a Mercedes power car. They were on 498 prior to this race, but with 2 cars starting today, 500th race start. That's a number, 500th race start for a Mercedes power car. Do you know what? Hats off to Mercedes. The reliability, touch wood, has been outstanding for the past few years. The W12 that was a wreck last 2 weeks ago is gleaming and it's glistening and it's starting on pole as Valtteri Bottas gets strapped in to his race car. That for the first time this season is on pole position. Is that man? Is the Iceman? Is the Finn? Valtteri Bottas, can he deny Lewis Hamilton a 98th race. Is it 98th or 99? I need to check that actually. Let me check that.
So he had a great chance. Yeah, how hard is that to do though? You're talking about being traumatized by Lewis Hamilton. Occasionally it might have happened to you. I'm not saying
I'm just checking.
It's so hard because you know, having Lewis and Max behind you in your wing mirror, you know that Lewis is gonna be flying.
He's gone.
He's gonna be so fast. So it's big pressure on Valtteri. If we talk about Carlos Sainz's,
He's got about 97 race wins to his name, so he can potentially take his 98th race victory. Wait, no, is it 9? Is he on 98? I think he's on 98. He can take his 99th race victory this week and today. Then whether he will, we'll find out at the checkered flag. I'm just gonna message Charlie to see where he is. Give me a moment.
Carlos beat him by 0.3 of a second yesterday, and he's fifth on the grid. So great job. Okay, how do we see this one playing out this afternoon then?
We will. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news coming in from Portugal. And just actually checking up on other sports updates. If you want one, let me know. Arsenal leading Newcastle by 1 goal to nil. Right then. Most overtakes out the whole season did this racetrack have last year? Remember, get the comments coming in. We are waiting for them. We are waiting, and we will get through them. That's for sure. We certainly will get through them as much as we can. Actually, let's get through some comments now, shall we? Remember, tweet us, hashtag Portuguese GP. Let's see what everyone... we're trending on Twitter as well, which is fantastic. Red Bull put curated by you in the zone ahead of the hashtag Portuguese GP with our Balls Beats playlist. Motorsport Week said 20 minutes to go, and it's actually slightly less than that. House F1 said rolling into place. That's really the only updates we've had with hashtag Portuguese GP. Remember, keep them coming in. We want them. Formula One has actually just tweeted, we're almost set. Yes, we are. You're right. We'll get through some of them. Okay, right. It's time for the Portuguese Grand Prix.
For those of you watching F1 on Sky Q,
very soon. Anyway, I'm going to try and get some more of those replays. Who's ready to go racing in Portimao? F1 wrote that, and replies are F1 cars just racing in circles. So boring. Not as boring as you, though, someone replied. Yes, they're absolutely right. Man, you don't know how interesting I'm. Ask all the girls from my... Okay. Right. Here we go.
We still are hunting, believe it or not.
There's someone talking now.
Not the ones to be hunted. Red Bull currently are ahead.
Hamilton is on pole.
Lewis wanted to be the hunted. Well, he's going to be hunted by 2 Red Bulls.
He's looking in his wing mirrors.
I don't know what I'm coming to get you in Dutchies, but that is what Max Verstappen will be thinking.
So check on the outside. Okay, for the moment, let Lewis through. Still got his one up.
Yeah, not bad for no man.
Ecstasy for one, agony for the other. An amazing fight for the first race.
I really hope we see Lewis and Max have many more battles. I don't know which way this is going to go.
Hamilton is forced wide and he's lost a little bit of bodywork. This is absolute disaster for Lewis Hamilton.
Sorry, guys.
That's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell.
What the was he doing? This is awesome work, Lewis. Got Morris ahead, P2. He's too quick for me.
Max Verstappen takes victory.
Yes. Very happy with that. Two of the greatest drivers we've ever seen on the grid in Formula One now.
It's Valtteri Bottas on pole here in Portimao.
What we think will be the 2 Title protagonists, Bottas, ahead of both. The title hunt continues. 2 races down.
It's the
21
Portuguese Grand Prix. Hello everyone, welcome along to Portimao. We're here in the Algarve for the Portuguese Grand Prix, the 2021 Formula 1 Heineken Gran Premio de Portugal, and we're here at Portimao for the 2nd year in a row. The championship battle commences then. Did you know this is the second visit? This is the second visit to the Algarve International Circuit and the 18th F1 World Championship Grand Prix to be held in Portugal. Last year's Portuguese Grand Prix was ranked first for on-track passes in 2020 with a total of 58. With just that one DRS zone, we got 2 this year. Let's take a look at the track. 4.653 kilometers, 2.891 miles. I'm just going to admit Charlie Tolhurst, 341 kilometers, 15 turns. And that raced that record, Charlie Tolhurst, 1:18.7. Turn 1 then, Stroll and Norris, that didn't end well, and Stroll becoming the only retiree in the race last year. Let's go down to turn 5, where Sainz saw a mistake from Bottas and went to the lead away from the Mercedes driver, as they went side by side through turn 6. Turn 13, Kimi Räikkönen starting 16. Well, he was 6th by the end of the lap. The first lap that was. And the tyre compounds we have this weekend are the C1, the C2, and the C3. We have the hardest compounds this weekend available to our drivers, Charlie, and the chance of rain is 0%. Most of our drivers will be starting on the medium tyres today, Charlie, especially those drivers who got Q3. Let's take a look at the starting grid then. Valtteri Bottas took his first pole of the year alongside Lewis Hamilton, just 7 milliseconds apart. Max Verstappen starts 3rd with Sergio Perez in 4th. Sainz starts 5th. He's joined by Alpine's Esteban Ocon. Lando Norris starts 7th with Charles Leclerc in 8th. Losing out to his Ferrari teammate, Pierre Gasly starts 9th, and Vettel makes his first Q3 appearance of the year in 10th. Russell 11th, Giovinazzi will start 12th in the Alfa Romeo. Alonso 13th, Tsunoda 14th with one of his best qualifyings for Yuki Tsunoda. 15th is Kimi Räikkönen, disappointed. Daniel Ricciardo starts 16th. Stroll will start 17th along with Nicholas Latifi in 18th. And it's the 2 Hatties on the back row with 19th Mick Schumacher and 20th is Nikita Mazepin. That dismal start to the season for Haas continues, Charlie. Have they got the opportunity to turn it around this afternoon?
It's going to be difficult, Jack. I was listening earlier to the pre-race interviews, and it's not going to be an easy weekend for a lot of teams today. I'll just confirm. I think there is a lot of wind. It's quite windy today at Portimao. There's a headwind down the pit straight. I think there's also like a tailwind or a side wind at some corners, like the middle sector. Potentially it turns 13 and 14 as well. So it's going to be very difficult to drive today. And I think we're in, hopefully, for a very exciting race.
I think we're going to see a lot of spins today, Charlie, especially up at that turn 13, 14 section, where we have a tailwind and then on the exit we will have a crosswind.
Yeah.
As you say, Charlie, it's a headwind going into turn 1. That could provide Max Verstappen with a really good slipstream on the first lap, couldn't it?
It could, Jack, as well. Last year, the slipstream effect was very strong into the first corner. So I'm hoping that today we will see the same effect with the slipstream. The DRS, we've also got 2 DRS zones as well, just to confirm.
And the DRS on the main straight has been moved back by 110 metres as well, should we say, to try and get some more overtaking action in turn 1. We had 53 overtakes at turn 1 last year, Charlie.
Yeah, we did have 53. I think the new zone as well, the one on the exit of 4 into Torre Vip at turn 5, that could provide some good action as well, especially into a tight left-hander going out onto the run-up between 6 and 7.
Lights go green, and we are away for the formation lap. They're running the thinner rear wing this weekend, Charlie. It's quite a low downforce, high-speed circuit, is Portimao.
It is. This weekend is going to be interesting because this is a circuit that is testing the drivers, and I think it's going to be a difficult race this weekend, certainly for the cars. I could expect to see lots of rear instability is going to be a big issue, especially in the winds through some of the tighter corners, especially in the middle and final sectors of the lap.
Right, so if you're starting on the soft tyre, your pit window will be between lap 17 and 24, and you're going to the medium to the end of the race. If you're starting on the medium, your pit window will be between around lap 28, and you'll go on to the soft to the end of the race, Charlie. It's going to be an on-track battle, isn't it? It's not going to be a strategic battle today.
No, it isn't. I mean, some tyres, Jack, as Lewis Hamilton mentioned earlier in one of the pre-race interviews, the hard tyre can get you probably to a race distance. But it's going to be interesting to see how the teams play their strategies today. Looking at the top 10, the top 4 all on the mediums. Ferrari, though, as Charles Leclerc said earlier today, both cars are on different strategies. I believe Leclerc's on the medium and Sainz is starting on the softs.
Right, are you ready to ride the roller coaster once more of Portimao? Valtteri Bottas coming through the final corner, weaving as he rises up the hill. He's going to back everyone right up now. So he doesn't want to be sitting on the grid too long, Charlie. And then hopefully we will get the green flag at the back, and then we will be good to go. And they've had a lot of support action this weekend at Portimao, so the track is nicely rubbered in. Quite a long pit straight then as they pull into position. Bottas trying to get a bit of a gap now, or Hamilton trying to get a bit of a gap to his teammate. And as Hamilton pulls over to the right-hand side to slot in to his second place position. He's won his last 6 second place starts as Lewis Hamilton. Can he make it his last 7? We're about to find out. Christian Horner nervously watching on as our cars pull into position. We've had a safety car on the opening lap for every single race so far this season. Are we going to get another one today? We're about to find out. Zach Brown watching on nervously. Right, as the Alpine of Alonso. Then the 2 Hasses pull into position.
We're going to go like that in a minute.
We get the green flag at the back. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights at Portimao. And it's go, go, go. Hamilton gets a very good start, but so does Valtteri Bottas. And Sergio Perez had an awful start. Verstappen's trying the outside of Hamilton. He can't quite do it. They all make it through turn 1. Relatively okay, Charlie. Carlos Sainz going round the outside of Sergio Perez. No contact so far. Very clean start. But Carlos Sainz going off the road at turn 4. Rejoins ahead of the Red Bull driver. The Alpine of Esteban Ocon going down the inside as there's a lock-up for Sebastian Vettel at turn 5. And the Alpine of Alonso goes very wide indeed and over the bumps on the exit curbs. A very clean start, though, Charlie, so far as they rise up the hill and down it towards the turn 8-9 section then, and up to they're going through turn 7 and up towards turn 8. Alonso's going to try round the outside at turn 8. He's going to go down the inside at turn 9. What a lovely move from Lando Norris. Bottas leads from Hamilton, from Verstappen, from Sainz, from Perez, from Norris, from Ocon, from Leclerc, Gasly, and Vettel rounds out the top 10. As we finish the opening lap at Portimao. Wasn't that dramatic stuff, Charlie?
It was. I've just got the positions up. Verstappen third, Hamilton still behind, and Antonio Giovinazzi has just gone past his teammate, and Daniel Ricciardo has made up a couple of positions on the opening lap.
Oh, Charlie, there's a crash at the back. Kimi Raikkonen's lost his front wing on the main straight. and he's gone straight on at turn 1 and into the gravel, and that's going to have to be a safety car, Charlie. No, he might be all right. He's parked it up very nicely, but there's debris on the circuit.
They might have to throw the VSC out here if there's debris.
I think it's a full safety car, Charlie.
Full safety car deployed.
Open up the race. It's a full safety car here at Portimao. And at the end of the first lap, let's see what happened. Does he hit someone, Charlie? Did it just break, Charlie? I think he might have had a front wing failure. I'm pretty sure he's hit someone. He's hit his own teammate, Charlie.
Oh, no.
2 Alfa Romeos had come together on the opening lap at Portimao. He'd have had I wouldn't be surprised if Giovinazzi might have a puncture as well, Charlie.
How on earth has Raikkonen just ran into the back of his teammate here?
Raikkonen's hit the back of his teammate. The 2 Alfa Romeos come together. And Raikkonen is out. Safety car through the pit lane. That's not so much of a surprise. So safety car through the pit lane. I guess that's because there's a lot of debris, Charlie, on the front straight.
Well, I don't blame them for going through the pits. They're going to have to clean that debris up down into turn 1 there.
Otherwise, we'd be getting punctures like crazy. Right, so the JCB...
just got that up now on the screen. Raikkonen is carrying damage. In fact, he lost his front wing. He was trying to nurse it back to the pits, but he couldn't make the corner and pulls off to the gravel. Race is over for him.
So the Mercedes GTR waiting as the cars make their way through the pit lane now, led by Bottas. Bottas actually had quite a decent gap, Charlie. He might be a bit annoyed that they've deployed the safety car here.
Probably. Bottas did start pulling away, but I think now that the safety car has neutralised the race, this is going to throw it wide open now for anyone.
So Kimi Raikkonen out of the car, Charlie. That's obviously good to see as his front wing went flying. Extremely glad that it didn't hit another car, Charlie.
Yeah, I've just got some timing screens up here just saying that one won't... Kimi Raikkonen definitely must have hit the back of Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. It says on here that he made contact with his teammate on the main start-finish straight.
Yeah, he did, Charlie. It was a strange incident, though, Charlie. A strange crash.
To be honest with you, I'll probably get a photograph on the timing on the lap-by-lap screen in a minute, and it'll probably show the extent of Kimi Raikkonen's car's damage. Here we are. Yeah, I can just see Raikkonen going down into turn 1, literally without his front wing. His front wing has completely dislodged from his Alfa Romeo there.
Yeah, so the Mercedes GTR safety car makes its third appearance of the season. We're without the Aston Martin this weekend, Charlie, who made its debut in Bahrain. Let's have a look at Sergio Perez. He just gets a lot of wheel spin as he gets off the line. And the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz goes steaming round the outside. He does go off the track, but that is allowed on the opening lap.
Yeah, I think Perez didn't have a very particularly good getaway. He must have had
he gets a lot of steering lock as the Ferrari goes off again at turn 4. Let's have a look from Daniel Ricciardo. He's now 13th. He made 3 positions at the start. He locks up and he just about misses hitting the back of the Alfa Romeo, Charlie, as Yuki Tsunoda then locks up and Daniel Ricciardo nearly goes into the back of the AlphaTauri. A very entertaining opening lap. But let's have a look at that incident again. Pardon me. Yeah, he does. Kimi Raikkonen does just go into the back of his teammate, Charlie.
Well, then the golden rule in motorsport is never hit your teammate. And I think it's clear now that Alfa Romeo are going to be having very strong words after this race. And Kimi Raikkonen will probably get penalised for this as well.
Yeah, it's
Yuki Tsunoda team radio.
They're cleaning up the Alfa Romeo now, Charlie. It's just been hoisted over the barriers by the JCB digger that we have down at turn 1. So Valtteri Bottas leads behind Bernd Maynander in his safety car. We're at Burnt mine ended Hamilton radio. Oh no, it didn't come. Burnt mine ended, Charlie. He hasn't had much time to put his feet up this season yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's been busy. Today,
he's been a very, very busy
exception.
boy indeed. So he spent 4 laps under safety car conditions. 66 laps this race runs to, or 2 hours, whatever we get to first. As we experienced at Imola, the 2 hours runs within a 4-hour window. So if we are to get a red flag again, then
radio from
the clock
Verstappen
will stop. I think they're getting that debris cleared as Hamilton brakes, Charlie, to try and test out Verstappen's braking skills. Right, Bottas radio. Bottas being told his rear brakes are very hot. Right, the safety car's no longer going through the pit lane, Charlie, so I think we are almost good to go.
Christian Horner's just commented saying we need Sergio in play, so it's going to be vital for him to clear Carlos.
It is, Charlie, and hopefully no more first lap. Safety cars bring safety cars, Charlie. That's the saying. Hopefully that won't occur. DRS won't be enabled straight away. It'll be enabled on the first full racing lap, I believe, at the end of the first full racing lap after safety car restart. I still haven't had a notification to say the safety car's in this lap though yet, Charlie. So I've been told everything's been cleared, but it's still saying safety car at the moment. So we'll wait and see on that one whether we can get racing at the end of this lap. A safety car has made an appearance on the opening lap of every single Grand Prix in 2021. We mentioned that at the start of the race. It hasn't made any difference at Portugal. The first ever safety car, Charlie, that we've had around the Algarve International Circuit.
Yeah, it is. I'm just getting the calendar up for next week. Formula One, after this race, they will be going to Spain next weekend.
We will, Charlie, and it looks to be as if the safety car is continuing for another lap. So I wonder if, Charlie, there's another problem down there that we haven't quite picked up yet that the marshals...
Hamilton radio.
Yeah, I've just got that radio, Charlie. Norris saying they still think plan A. So safety car will continue here for another lap. So there's clearly another problem, Charlie, as to why we haven't gone racing again, because everything's been cleared.
Pete Bonington said there's some, I think, on the left-hand side of the main start-finish straight on Hamilton's radio message.
Yeah. George Russell's done the fastest lap as well, Charlie, but
we're under a safety car window at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right, Charlie. There might still be some more debris on the pit straight still. Hamilton radio. Okay, so safety car will be in this lap then. So we'll be going racing at the end of this lap. Bottas being told he's got very high rear brake temperatures and very high temperatures on those rear brakes. Hamilton's has just been saying to Bono, keep him updated on those brake temperatures and he will try to keep them as cool as possible. Could that be a problem, Charlie, for Valtteri Bottas braking at the first corner?
Could be, potentially. They'll have to keep an eye on his rear brake temperatures.
So I think as it's a long straight, Bottas's job now. So when the lights go out, Charlie, which they'll be going out now, it's Bottas. Bottas effectively becomes the safety car. He dictates the pace. He lets Bernd Maylander pull into the pit lane, and then he has to go before the safety car line.
Yeah.
So he's not going. Right. So what you're not allowed to do, Charlie, is you're not allowed to go and then stop. Once he goes, he nearly loses it. At the top of the hill, Right, here we go then. We are almost good to go as he comes through turn 15. He's still weaving away as they rise up the hill. And we are back racing at Portimao. But what's Hamilton doing? Hamilton looks extremely close. Hamilton's pulling to the left-hand side. But Verstappen's going round the outside of the 7-time world champion into turn 1. Verstappen takes second place away as Leclerc's plunging down the order. What's happened to Charles Leclerc, Charlie? He's gone all the way down the order with Charles Leclerc. But Verstappen and is that Lando Norris going down the inside of Sergio Perez into turn 5. The Ferrari locks up. And it's absolute chaos again, Charlie, on the first full racing lap. And the Alpine is going to try round the outside at turn 6 and down the inside at turn 7 on Charles Leclerc. A lovely move from Esteban Ocon. But Verstappen getting past Hamilton, Charlie, as Leclerc goes back round the outside.
Leclerc's struggling to get his tyres up to temperature. I think that might be why he's falling down the field.
Yeah, I wonder if, Charlie, Hamilton expected Bottas to go all the way to the line. He didn't quite go all the way to the safety car line. I wonder if that caught him out. But someone had a problem on the opening lap because someone fell right to the bottom. Right, Bottas is just on the fastest lap. That's a disaster for Lewis Hamilton, isn't it, Charlie? The gap,
he's down to third now. Verstappen second, 0.6 off the race lead.
Someone's going wheel to wheel. It's the Williams and George Russell couldn't quite get through. So lap 8, Schumacher and George Russell going down the inside of Lance Stroll and up into fourth. That's Stroll going down the inside of Russell. But Stroll is. There's a problem with our timing screens, Charlie, because it's saying loads of drivers are plunging down the order and then they all of a sudden rise back up. Right, let's have a look at the safety car restart again. So Bottas goes and Hamilton just doesn't realise it. He slots into the slipstream and then he's going to hang it round the outside at turn 1. Verstappen radio. And it keeps it within the track limits as well, Charlie.
Yeah, that's good from Verstappen there. Let's hope that he doesn't. Let's hope that move was clean.
Right, so it's a 1 and 3 for Mercedes. Right, let's have a look at Lando Norris as he gets past Checo Perez at turn 5. He's got like racy mood as Lando Norris. Right,
Norris up to
just
fifth
on
now.
the fastest lap, buddy, and he's looking to come back at Verstappen. Just over a second, Charlie, separates the top 3. This is how close it is.
Norris up to fourth now. Wow.
It's a DRS train. Bottas could be in trouble here, Charlie, because the 2 drivers behind him have got DRS.
They have as well. And also look out for Lando Norris in the McLaren running in fourth.
It's not particularly long straight, is it? That straight towards turn 5, but we have seen some overtaking manoeuvres get done there already. So 0.6 of a second. It's just over a second now between Verstappen and Hamilton. I wonder if Hamilton's Charlie's. Let's just sit there, let them battle it out, and maybe we can pick up some scraps.
Is Hamilton going for neutralising his tyres? That's the question.
Oh, Verstappen goes deep, Charlie. As he tried an outside move on Bottas into turn 12 was that. Right, here we go then. Half a second. Verstappen is going to have the DRS now as they come out of turn 15. The DRS and the slipstream. Let's see him gaining on Bottas. He's not quite going to be close enough to go down the inside at turn 1. No, 0.2 away. Hamilton was out of DRS on that occasion. He's now back in it, Charlie, for the activation zone after turn 4. So Hamilton's going to get DRS as well. Right, here we go then. As Verstappen tries again on Valtteri Bottas. He's just not close enough, Charlie, into turn 5.
Bottas is holding on at the moment.
Yeah, he rather is, Charlie. Hamilton's also closing down on the gap as Tsunoda overtakes Latifi and Schumacher. A double whammy for Tsunoda. I guess that was into turn 5. They ride the roller coaster once more. They plunge down the hill, round turn 9 and up towards, is that turn 9 and turn 10? And they're going towards turn 12 and turn 13 and 14 now. The top 3 separated by 1.5 seconds. Bottas has put his foot down a bit now. And Verstappen is out of DRS, Charlie, and Hamilton is in DRS. Hamilton's gaining, and he goes down the inside of Max Verstappen, does Lewis Hamilton, and Hamilton's back up into second place, and it's back to a Mercedes 1-2, but Verstappen's going to try round the outside at turn 3, and does Hamilton push him off the track? I think that's fair enough, Charlie. Elbows out. But Verstappen, can he get it stopped just about at turn 5? Right, so it's a straight battle between Verstappen and the 2 Mercedes now. It's like a cat and dog race, Charlie. This is brilliant.
It's certainly a catalyst in the top 3 here for the lead of the race. Verstappen's still ahead of Hamilton at the moment.
He just loses time, does Verstappen, through turn 13 and 14. That gives Hamilton the DRS, and Verstappen crucially didn't have DRS. And it's a good overtake from the 7-time world champion, Charlie. Got to be brave to be doing that. And you remember, also running offline, there's also a chance
second now,
isn't there? Right, Hamilton. Right, the stewards have decided no investigation necessary on that incident between Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen radio. Verstappen saying he's a sitting duck on the straight. Hamilton's now within DRS range of Valtteri Bottas as well, Charlie. That's crucial. He seems to be struggling on the straight line speed. He's lost 2 seconds to the Mercedes in that last lap alone, Charlie.
I think Verstappen is struggling to get just straight line speed out of the Honda engine.
You're right, Charlie. But it's still game on. More than game on. Hamilton radio. And Hamilton's been told his front brake temperatures are starting to get a bit on the high side. I think both the Mercedes are having that problem, Charlie, with their front brake temperatures.
Yeah.
Right. Has Hamilton got the gap, got the confidence? He's 0.7 of a second away from his teammate Valtteri Bottas. He's going to get DRS as they go down the straight. He's not quite going to be close enough. He's going to be half a second off, 0.3 of a second off as they go through turn 1. Not quite close enough, Charlie, but he's edging closer and closer and closer as Hamilton has just done the fastest lap. Right, here we go. Then towards turn 5, Bottas, Charlie, got an excellent exit from turn 4.
Bottas has probably kept himself at bay here for another lap.
He might have done, Charlie, but an interesting dogfight between the 2 Mercedes drivers. Bottas well in the fight for this race win. The top 3, Charlie, the top 4 can all win this race.
They could. I mean, Norris is 4th at the moment, clear of just over a second clear of Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz 6th from Ferrari, on the soft tyre, and also Lando Norris on the soft. So strategy there is going to be interesting.
Right, Charlie, Yuki Tsunoda has just received 2 warnings for track limits.
He's running in 16th at the moment, is Tsunoda, in the other AlphaTauri.
Right, here we go again. Hamilton looks just that little bit too far back, and he seems to drop off a bit through the final sector. Yes, he is, even with DRS. He's not quite close enough. Well, Bottas goes off the track at turn 1 as well. It's just squabbling and squirming through turn 3 that Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, Charlie. It looks a real challenge to drive, does the W12 in the opening part of the lap.
Yeah. Verstappen's dropping back further now, 2 seconds adrift of the two Mercs.
Yeah, he's just gained 8 tenths though on Lewis Hamilton, Charlie, through the first corner. He's coming back into play is Verstappen in this. As Daniel Ricciardo started 16th, is now 11th. A stellar job from Daniel Ricciardo in that McLaren, Charlie.
Ricciardo's certainly going to be wanting some big points this afternoon. Can he get up to where the 2 Ferraris are potentially?
We'll have to wait and see, Charlie. Vettel is the last points playing position at the moment in 10th. Right, here we go again. Hamilton looks a lot closer out of turn 15 this time as they rise up the hill and they go down the straight. He still just looks that little bit too far back, Charlie, but he looks closer than ever going into turn 1 this time.
Can he complete the move very soon? We just have to wait and see.
And obviously, Charlie, Toto Wolff will be now biting as Perez goes down the inside of Norris at turn 1 as well. Toto Wolff will be biting his nails as the 2 Mercedes get very, very close, Charlie. It's the last thing you want, your 2 drivers coming together. We've already seen it once today with Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. We don't want to see it again.
Perez I think Perez has just overtaken Norris. I'm not sure my timing screens have quite
yes, you're right, Charlie. He just has. Interestingly, Charlie, Giovinazzi didn't get a puncture from that contact with his teammate.
Wow, that's interesting. He's very lucky to get away from that, is Antonio Giovinazzi.
He is. Right, let's have a look at that Perez-Norris overtake again. Perez, nice, easy overtake into turn 1 from the Red Bull driver. Perez radio. Being told, nice move from his race engineer. It was indeed a nice move. As the AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda goes down the inside of the Alpine of Fernando Alonso. I think that was at turn 5. Right, tossing away. We're just having a look at that Hamilton-Bottas battle again. Hamilton just that little bit too far back through the straight. Right, Giovinazzi and is that Ocon, is it? Or Alonso behind him? Yes, Alonso. Alonso with DRS. The wise old head of Fernando into turn 1. Couldn't quite get past the Italian of Antonio Giovinazzi. But as it's a long pit lane, the average time lost in the pit stop is about 25 seconds here, Charlie. That's a long pit stop.
Yeah.
Right, Hamilton has gained 2 tenths on his teammate through the opening sector. Whoever pits for the Mercedes first, Charlie, is probably going to have the upper hand advantage.
Possibly. I mean, it's going to be interesting what tyre they go on to towards the end of this race. I could see medium hard potentially for Mercedes.
I think the soft, Charlie, is according to our Aramco predictions and Pirelli, the soft tyre is what you will go on to if you start on the mediums. Right,
yeah,
Hamilton,
maybe.
With DRS once more as they go towards turn 1. He's still, Charlie, just that little bit too far back. The overtake could be done in the pit stops, couldn't it, Charlie? If Hamilton
maybe it could be. Hamilton is just not getting past. Verstappen is dropped back now. Again, just over 2 seconds behind.
Right.
Perez 4th for Red Bull. 5th is Lando Norris.
There's an 8-second gap between Verstappen and Perez. Perez will have the option to get on with this now, won't he, and catch up with his teammate.
This is the time to see whether Sergio Perez has got the true pace in that Red Bull.
Yeah, right. As they rise over the crest, they plunge down the hill through turn 9 and on towards turn 10. No, sorry, they're going through turn 7. They've gone through turn 8, through turn 9, and on to turn 12 is that now? I think they're at. Oh, Hamilton's gone deep at turn 12, Charlie. Hamilton went very, very deep at turn 12. That would have lost him about half a second or so.
Possibly.
And he's going to be out of the DRS range as well, Charlie. He's out of the DRS range. Right, if you're on the soft tyre, the pit window is now very much open.
Yeah, lap 18 we're on to now. Lap 66.
He didn't get DRS, Charlie, but he got a very nice slipstream, did Lewis Hamilton. Right, Daniel Ricciardo is now having a battle with the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel. Vettel covers the inside. Ricciardo goes to the outside at turn 1. And he had a disappointing qualifying, but he's back into the points-paying positions at Portimao this afternoon.
Daniel Ricciardo up to P10.
You're right there, Charlie. Let's have a look at it again. Vettel covers the inside. Ricciardo goes to the outside. It's a typical Daniel Ricciardo move to the outside, Charlie.
Yeah.
Right, we're on lap 18 of 66. A great opening 18 laps so far. It's now biting battle between the top 3. Bottas currently heads it. So Verstappen's been told the main time they're losing is through the turn 8 section, Charlie. But Verstappen is saying, Charlie, that he's losing the time down the straight with the straight line speed. Hamilton looks closer than ever through turn 3, but that Mercedes just looks really, really twitchy and squirmy on the exit. Verstappen was 10 faster than Hamilton overall on the last lap. No one diving into the pits first. Who do you think, Charlie, is going to pull the trigger first, Red Bull or Mercedes?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I would expect, like, obviously last time Red Bull were the first team to react to the crossover at Imola, so it's going to be interesting to see whether they do the same again today.
I think Red Bull will pit first because they've got nothing to lose, have they? I think they might roll the dice a bit here, Red Bull. Verstappen is obviously being told to sit tight in case the two Mercedes do come together. Obviously, we hope they don't because we want this battle to continue for the rest of the race. We said it would be an on-track battle, Charlie. So far, we've been proved very much right. Right, we're on board with Hamilton now through turn 15. Let's see the gap and see how much he gains on the main straight. He's got DRS this time around. He's gaining on Bottas. But again, he's going to go to the outside of his teammate. Hamilton goes round the outside and into the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix. What a move, Charlie, from Lewis Hamilton. Car number 44. Wow, that was brilliant.
I didn't actually see the overtake, but it looks pretty impressive. Hamilton now up into the lead of this race.
But the two cars behind Charlie have now both got DRS. Let's have a look at it again. Bottas covers the inside. He brakes so late, Charlie. So late. And keeps it within the white line as well.
I
wonder if Valtteri had to lift off, Charlie, so they didn't come together.
Probably.
But right, it's now Bottas has now got a battle with Verstappen, Charlie, because they're only about half a second apart now because of Bottas having to lift off. And he's just been overtaken by his teammate Bottas. He might find himself in third place by the time he gets towards turn 1. Right, let's see what Verstappen can do. He already overtook one Mercedes round the outside. He lost that position. He's going to be too far back to overtake Bottas this time around. Do you know what, Charlie? Even I didn't expect Hamilton to make that move round the outside.
No, he must have pulled it off out the park there. What a move by Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes.
Right, Verstappen has got DRS again, going down towards turn 5, but so has Valtteri Bottas, crucially. Hamilton radio. Hamilton saying tyres are pretty shot, Charlie. I wonder if Hamilton might come into the pits in the next few laps.
It's Daniel Ricciardo's radio as well.
Good stuff, Daniel. You're quick as well. You're quick as well. Quicker than the other midfield cars. Good job. Good job. Understood.
He's getting closer and closer. I'm just wondering whether his tyres are shot, because he's starting holding his own there. Bottas has got to watch out.
Yeah, I wonder if, Charlie, because of Hamilton following Bottas for that amount of laps, whether it did wreck his tyres a bit.
Maybe.
But Hamilton's pulled a 1.3 second gap away from Bottas, so it's increasing. So maybe those tyres, is it a double bluff from Lewis Hamilton saying his tyres are shot?
Not sure.
But Verstappen, once more, has DRS going towards turn 1. But again, he's just that little bit.
He's probably just not got the straight line speed to put up the fight.
Right, Ferrari rolling the dice with what one of their drivers is
that will probably be Sainz, I should imagine.
Sainz, you're right, Charlie.
Because he's on the soft.
Getting rid of his soft compound tyres, and he'll be going on to the mediums. Let's see, it'll be a nice clean stop, hopefully. A lovely stop from the Ferrari mechanics, 2.2 seconds. Right, the AlphaTauri guys are also coming out. It's going to be neck and neck whether he gets out in front of George Russell. No, he doesn't, Charlie. The Carlos Sainz is behind Russell and has dropped down to 15th. Tsunoda's in the pits as well, and he will come out plumb last. Is where he will come out. That gap between Verstappen and Bottas, Charlie, is just over half a second now.
Yeah.
So, let's see what the next twist of the towel of this Portuguese Grand Prix is. Hamilton pulling that gap out, saying his tyres are dead, but he's pulling that gap out. Charlie, if you're Lewis Hamilton, you're watching these two in your mirrors, are you thinking, please collide, please collide, please collide for the championship?
Maybe. He'll probably be thinking of that, but also as well, Hamilton's going to want to keep his car on the island as well. He's only still 1.6 clear of Bottas, though, so it's not a massive gap at the moment.
He is. And Lando Norris, Charlie, is making his way into the pits to ditch his soft tyres. And he's going to be putting on the nice new set of mediums. Oh, it's slow, Charlie. It's quite slow. For 3.3 seconds as Ocon comes in. Let's see what his time is. 2.5. Vettel's coming in. Giovinazzi's in. A lot of them are coming in. And Carlos Sainz goes down the inside of George Russell into turn 1. Right, let's see what happens now. Verstappen's done the fastest sector 1, Charlie, so that Red Bull is coming back into play quite nicely. Carlos Sainz still can't get past Lando Norris towards turn 5. And Perez has now done the fastest sector 2. Those Red Bulls, Charlie, really coming into play quite nicely now.
Yeah, Red Bull have obviously getting their tyres fired up now.
They must be, Charlie, but quite a good on-track battle now between Sainz and Lando Norris. I can imagine Sainz will get past the McLaren into turn 1 using the DRS on the main straight. Let's see exactly as they go through turn 13 and on to turn 14. Hamilton is sitting quite comfortably at about a 1.8 second gap now out front as the Ferrari and the McLaren and Lando Norris rise up the hill. Lando Norris is weaving to break the slipstream. He might have just broken the slipstream enough so Carlos Sainz can't get through at turn 1.
Two former teammates going against each other there.
Yeah, he's going to get a Verstappen radio. So Hamilton's saying there's a lot more degradation, a lot more wear today than they've been experiencing over the practice sessions over the course of this weekend. But as he rises up, he was 1.5 tenths slower than Verstappen on that last lap, was Lewis Hamilton. Is it pit stop time, Charlie, for the Mercedes driver? Yeah.
Difficult.
I think if you want to go onto the soft, you've got to go a bit longer. You've got to hold on. But if Bottas can hold up Verstappen a bit longer here, then that would work nicely as Gasly comes into the pits. We keep an eye on whether he comes out ahead of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Let's just see as he comes into the pit, stops nicely in his markers and goes. Where is Carlos Sainz? 2.2 seconds. Norris goes past, Sainz goes past. So he's just behind Carlos Sainz is Pierre Gasly, Charlie.
Yeah.
So Gasly slots in 12th as Valtteri Bottas is again being pursued all, and Max Verstappen, Charlie, nearly goes straight into the back of the Mercedes.
Well, he's managed to stop it at least, though.
Yeah, I think he got a dollop of understeer on the braking, Charlie, and it's cost him a lot of time. In fact, he will just about get DRS, but he's about 6 tenths of a second behind Valtteri Bottas now.
Yep. Ricardo up to 6th now after pitted.
As the Ferrari crew coming out and the hard tyres, that will be for number 16 of Charles Leclerc.
Ferrari going for the hards here. This is an interesting strategic move from Ferrari.
They are, Charlie. They're going for the hard tyre.
I think Ferrari are going. I think Leclerc's going for a one-stop here.
It's slow, Charlie. It's very, very slow. 3.4 seconds. That really just didn't seem to want to come off, and he's going to come out crucially behind his teammate is Charles Leclerc.
Leclerc's had a slow pit stop there.
He has, and Gasly has just got past the Williams of George Russell. Right. George Russell, though, is also going to be getting passed by the Alpine of Esteban Ocon, who goes down the inside at turn 5, having to help him of DRS. Hamilton moaning about his tyres, Charlie. He's just set the fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
As Verstappen, it's vital for the championship, isn't it, Charlie, that Verstappen gets past Bottas?
Yeah, it is vital, absolutely. I mean, I just want to say I'm not sure whether any of the front runners are experiencing blistering on their mediums. Just yet.
I haven't seen that yet, Charlie, but is it going to be a repeat of Silverstone 2020 where we get punctures on the last lap, left, right and centre? It would provide some drama, wouldn't it? Let's put it that way. There's a lovely helicopter shot as they plunge down the hill through turn 9 and turn 10 and on to turn 11.
Ocon onto cards as well. Looks like a one-stop going on at Alpine for Esteban Ocon.
Yes, right. Through turn 11 they go and on to turn 12. Then Verstappen looks closer than ever as they go through the turn 13-14 section. As we're just seeing pictures, Hamilton's got that blistering, Charlie, on his front right medium tyre that you were saying about.
That, I don't know how worn it is, but obviously remember Silverstone last year when they were the front lefts and front rights.
Is that the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel going down the inside of George Russell and into 13th place?
Look like it is.
Right, so the pit window now, according to our Aramco strategist, if you're on the medium tyre, the pit window is now open to go onto the soft. So let's have a look at that move again from Sebastian Vettel. Nice slingshot down the inside. Easy move into turn 5. Well, relatively easy anyway. And he keeps it. within the track limits as well, which is crucial. Right, let's have a look. Verstappen, Bottas continued then. We were expecting it to be more Verstappen, Hamilton, Charlie, but Hamilton has pulled out in front, and it is Verstappen, Bottas. I think, Charlie, that Verstappen isn't showing his true pace behind the Mercedes here, and he's getting held up a bit.
I think what Verstappen will want is an undercut to get ahead of Bottas.
Yes, he will. Half a second, Charlie, separates. They are closer than they have been through turn 13, 14 this whole race. But it's dropped about 7/10 of a second through turn 15. This is it for Verstappen, isn't it? This is the opportunity to get it done. He's got DRS as they plunge down the hill. He's still, Charlie, just too far back. Another 10 meters of DRS and he'd have got that job done, but he's just that little bit too far back.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting how this racing is going to get on over the next few
It'll be interesting to see how it folds out. And we're hearing that Verstappen might be doing the undercut from our guys at Red Bull, Bottas Radio. So Bottas being told if the gap goes above 3.5 to his teammate, then they stop him to try and bring his way back into this race then. Right, Russell has come into the pitch then, and he's depositing his soft tyres now for the mediums. Let's see the pit stop time. We're going to be getting it in very, very soon. But we're looking again at the Verstappen-Bottas battle. Verstappen again is getting DRS. Verstappen again is getting close to Bottas. Verstappen again can't get past Bottas at turn 1. There's a 2.7 second stop for George Russell, and he comes out just ahead of his teammate Nicholas Latifi in 18th. The two Hasses, 15th and 17th, haven't pitted yet. But what the front runners don't want to do is pit and then you get a safety car or a virtual safety car and you lose the race lead. That's certainly not what you don't want to happen. It's very cool when it does happen as the helicopter getting a nice shot of Verstappen and Bottas as they rise through turn 9 and on to turn 10. And they're going to plunge down the hill through turn 11 and on to turn 12. And then but Verstappen getting it nicely stopped this time for turn 12 and through turn 13 and 14 they go. On to turn 15. Hamilton got that crucial World Championship point for fastest lap at this very time. Here we go. Verstappen, this time, can he get past Bottas? No, he can't, is the answer. But the two Williams going for it now. George Russell's going to try it down the inside of his teammate at turn 1. And George Russell, it's Nicholas Latifi, so he's getting past George Russell at turn 1 with that DRS. But Russell, crucially, is going to get another help in the DRS towards turn 5, but it's just too short, that DRS, so he can't quite get past his team. This is the battle for 18th, remember. The two Williams on the hard compound tyres.
It's interesting. I thought Williams would have had a bit more pace today, actually, but they're well down the field at the moment.
Well, the people in front of them, Charlie, haven't all pitted yet.
Oh, that's why.
Verstappen's never led the Formula One's Drivers' Championship. As it stands, he won't be leading it by the end of today either. But absolutely everything can change because we're not even halfway through this race yet. And we're on that 31 of 66. But he's quite distant, is Verstappen, from Bottas. I think he'll be too far back as Hamilton does another fastest lap. Right, Bottas is at 3.5 seconds now. he was told if the gap gets to 3.5 seconds between his teammate, he will be pitted. Will Bottas be coming into the pits at the end of this lap, Charlie?
Potentially.
Perez radio. Perez being told he will be going long as Verstappen gets DRS again. How long can you go, though, Charlie, on the mediums?
Crucial. It's going to be interesting. We're now up to lap 32 of 66.
You're right, Charlie. We're counting down the laps. And those medium tyres, Charlie, are still hanging on in there.
They are just about.
So they ride over the roller coaster section, and they're going into turn 13. Wait, no, sorry, turn 10 and on to turn 11. Then they'll be going into turn 12. Lance Stroll, Charlie, has done 31 laps on a set of soft compound tyres.
That's pretty decent from Stroll.
That is, isn't it? He's the highest one that did start on the soft in 7th. Vettel's fallen down to 13th as Nikita Mazepin makes his way into the pits, and Verstappen's out DRS, Charlie, down the straight.
What is happening for Red Bull?
Yeah.
These tyres are shot. Yes. Yeah. You're not fooling anyone, Lewis. Not at all. And interestingly, actually, McLaren's in, tyre guru has been on the radio.
So Mazepin comes out last from the pits. Ocon against Gasly. This is an interesting battle as well. Ocon pulled over a tenth of a second down on that last lap to Gasly. They are just separated by about 5 car lengths, so not very much between the Alpine and the AlphaTauri either. Right, we've hit half race distance now, Charlie. We've still got another half of this epic Portuguese Grand Prix to go.
Yeah, we have. It's going to be very interesting. So the
Right, Ocon tries it on Gasly. It didn't quite work, and they nearly ended up in contact, and Ocon had to back out of it through turn 1. Ricardo radio. Hamilton, Charlie, has done another fastest lap.
Wow.
Any of his tyres shot? I don't think they really are shot at the moment, are they?
I think Hamilton's pulling out some fantastic pace here on his mediums. Really strong.
He is, Charlie. 3.6 seconds. Mercedes did tell Valtteri if it gets to 3.5 seconds, they'll pit him, but they are keeping him out. I wonder if they're worried about an overcut possibly from Red Bull.
Maybe. That's an interesting thing. Verstappen is dropping back, though.
He is, Charlie. He very much is dropping back. Right, let's have a look at AWS. So Ocon was about 3 kilometers an hour quicker on the exit of turn 14. So he's going to carry that speed all the way down the straight. He's going to get DRS, and he's going to go round the outside of the AlphaTauri into turn 1, and he gets the job done as the AlphaTauri goes well off the road as well.
Yeah.
So Ocon up to 11th, Gasly down to 12th. The 2 French drivers giving it their all at Portimao this afternoon as Perez does the fastest sector 2. Perez is very fast in that second sector, Charlie, but he's just lacking up parts of the lap. Perez, Charlie, is crucially closing that gap to his teammate Verstappen as well.
Interesting. Sergio Perez coming into this a little very slowly.
Very slowly. It's a bit like it's going to be a grand finale race, isn't it, Charlie? They're all spread out a bit at the moment, and then once one makes the move, they'll all make the move.
Yeah.
Verstappen was 2 tenths quicker on the last lap compared to Bottas, but the lap before he was almost half a second slower. than the Mercedes driver. So it's interesting, Charlie. They seem to be quicker, and then they seem to be going a bit slower again.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, I think.
It will certainly be interesting. Oh, Verstappen's gone very wide through turn
I think
13.
Verstappen's starting to struggle now, Jack, on his tyres, I think.
And Verstappen's pitting, Charlie.
I don't blame him, he's struggling.
Roll the dice. Right, what tyres is it going to be? It's a brand new set of soft, hard compound tyres, Charlie. It's a very nice stop, 2.3 seconds. Bottas radio.
Pick up the pace.
So Valtteri's been told to pick up the pace now, Charlie.
Yeah, Verstappen going onto the hard. So maybe some drivers are not going on the soft. They don't know if they can. They're not sure whether the softs can make it to the end.
I don't think they are, Charlie. Oh, he double locked it, Charlie, as he came into the pits. Did he slow it down in time for the 80k board? I mean, they are rubbish anyway now, those tyres. They're going straight in the bin, especially after that lock-up.
Really well.
There's a 4% chance of a Verstappen overtake on Bottas, Charlie.
Nothing. That's impossible.
5% now, 6%. It's going up. Right, and Bottas is coming. There's a hard set of hard tyres. The Mercedes crew are coming out. I'm going to assume that's going to be for Valtteri Bottas, and it is.
So they're going on to the hards, not the softs. Interesting.
It needs to be 2 seconds, Charlie, and it's not that bad, Charlie. It's a 3.3 second stop. It's going to be neck and neck. 80 kilometers an hour. Verstappen's coming out to the final corner. Bottas is just exiting the pit lane. He's just going to be able to do it, is Valtteri Bottas. But Verstappen is going to have the warmer tyres. And Bottas nearly loses it out of turn 3. And Verstappen's trying it down the inside at turn 4. He can't quite do it. Verstappen goes down the inside at turn 5 and snatches third place away from Valtteri Bottas, net second on the road. That is vital, Charlie, for Red Bull.
It is vital. We're keeping an eye on Sergio Perez as well, because he's on the medium.
Mercedes crew out again. This time it's going to be for car number 44, Lewis Hamilton. They're going to have a bit more breathing room this time. But it's going to... He's going to crucially have back markers in his way, Charlie, between Hamilton and Verstappen as Perez goes into the lead. But Perez hasn't stopped yet. Verstappen's just coming around the corner. Hamilton's just exiting the pit lane and is crucially going to be out ahead of the back markers, which separates him between Verstappen. Hamilton's going to have the lap younger tyres, which could advantage him at the end of the race. Hamilton radio. Hamilton saying it's going to be tricky with the warm-up first sector at least. He's got it slowed down enough for turn 5. But he is getting caught up by the Williams, is Lewis Hamilton, Charlie, as he gets those medium hard tyres up to temperature zone.
The interesting one in this,
his teammate Carlos Sainz, Charlie, going into turn 5.
There's quite a few drivers that haven't stopped. I mean, Lance Stroll is 7th and still on the soft tyre. This is amazing. He's managing to last a stint.
Have a look at this move from Verstappen again. He gets in the slipstream down that straight with DRS Verstappen radio. Yes, come on, is what Max says. Very much, come on.
Come on.
Perez staying out once again.
What is Perez
How
going
long
on
are Red
here? Is
Bull
he
going to
going for
leave
the
Perez
soft or
out?
the mid hard? This is the interesting one from Perez.
Perez might be going for the soft, Charlie, as he's staying out. So Perez leads, but Hamilton has the net lead, if that makes sense. And Bottas is down into fourth, but has Bottas radio.
Plan C.
So Bottas is unsafe to Perez if there is a safety car. Is that what Red Bull might be hoping, Charlie, that there might be a safety car deployed at some point?
Could be this.
In the next few laps?
If there is a safety car, this could throw the race right into Perez's hands. Because you won't lose any time on the safety car.
Hamilton would be safe, even if there was a safety car to Perez. It'd be touch and go with Verstappen. Perez stays out for another lap. It's 18 seconds to Bottas. 15 seconds. If you pit under a safety car or a virtual safety car. But certainly not done yet this race, Charlie.
That 40 of 66. Still some drivers that haven't pitted yet. Daniel Ricciardo's still in 5th position, but has not stopped.
He has, Charlie. Right, there's 26
Ricciardo has stopped.
Laps to go in this race. A safety car now, Charlie, would be Perez's Christmas come about 7-8 months early.
Would be. Just getting the updated race results in, or updated standings in now. From Formula 1. Yeah, Ricciardo, got the 5th.
Stroll's finally got rid of those soft tyres, Charlie, and Perez saying vibrations increasing. I think Red Bull might be making a pit stop very, very soon indeed.
Yeah.
What's gone wrong for Williams, Charlie? They're 16th and 17th. They've really fallen down the race order.
They have Williams are struggling for pace again. Oh.
And Ocon is on the back of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz in 9th and 10th. This battle is for. Let's see how this one goes. Interesting one going on here, Charlie. As exactly to what will happen in the race. Well, like the remainder of this race, the 25 laps that we got left of it.
Yeah.
Shape the season, couldn't it?
It could shape the season, certainly.
As the Williams pit crew, the Alpine pit crew, make a stop for Fernando Alonso, just under 2.5 seconds. A nice stop for Alonso. But unfortunately, he's going to come out in 11th place.
Alpine could score some well-earned points this afternoon.
They could, Charlie. Perez still going on as Ocon is he's getting close to that Ferrari, not quite close enough, like to make a move into turn 5. They rise up the hill towards turn 6 and turn 7. Then Hamilton's done a new fastest lap on a new set of hard tyres, Charlie. So he's clearly got those hards into the operating window now.
I think he has. Hamilton's certainly getting his tyres up to temperature now and pulling away from the rest of the field.
And the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo is now making its way into the pit lane. Hopefully it'll be a nice stop as he gets rid of those medium tyres. He stops nicely on his marks. They have a problem with the jack. It's very slow, Charlie. 4.8 seconds for Daniel Ricciardo. It's very costly and slow. It's going to come out outside. It's going to come out in 10th position, Charlie, is Daniel Ricciardo. And only a couple of seconds ahead of ahead of Alonso in 11th. Let's see what happened. He was very far beyond his marks, Charlie. He caught out the Jackman a bit at the front.
Well, Ricciardo's going to have to hope now that he can have a very strong end to this race to score some valuable points this afternoon.
Hamilton's done another fastest lap, but who's that in fourth? Bottas has just gone even faster than his teammate.
Wow. Bottas certainly picking the pace up. Perez still, I think Perez has pitted. I'm not sure if my timing screens are updated.
Oh, as the Ferrari gets a bit queasy coming out of, where would that be? Turn 12. And
Norris up
wide
to
on the exit Bottas radio.
Yep, Ricciardo's pitting now. Just getting the standings updated for you now.
So Bottas being told, push to the end on his hards. Right. The Alpine of Esteban Ocon is going to try around the outside of the Ferrari. It doesn't quite work. Carlos Sainz just makes the apex of the corner and keeps the Alpine of Esteban Ocon behind him.
Ocon's showing some pretty decent pace in that Alpine, actually. It was really good. It was a really solid qualifying from him, actually, was Esteban Ocon.
He is, Charlie, you're right. Showing some really decent pace is the Alpine of Esteban Ocon and the Alpine of Fernando Alonso. If one of the drivers ahead retires, Charlie, he will be in the points paying positions. And Hamilton's just on the fastest lap again. Perez still hanging on in there on those medium tyres, Charlie. He's going to have to pit eventually.
He's losing time now. And if there's no safety car this afternoon, Perez will lose time on those mediums. I think I'm hearing Perez could well go onto the softs by staying out this long.
So Toto's getting involved with Valtteri now, telling him to push, and try and get past Max. And as the outside of Carlos Sainz into turn 1, that move has been coming, but it's eventually been got done by Esteban Ocon, who moves up into 7th place now.
Wow. That's a very...
Let's have a look again. He goes to the outside. The move in all afternoon. You've got to be very, very confident to do that. The problem is you go too far right, the defending car, you do open up the corner for your rival to get through quite nicely.
Ocon is complete. Ocon now up into 7th.
You're right.
Behind Lewis Hamilton.
Both Mercedes more aggressive at turn 8 than exit turn 8, so start to adopt that move.
And Verstappen being told both Mercedes more aggressive at turn 8 and try to adopt that. Verstappen's closing the gap a bit. Are we in for the duel again? 4.5 seconds separates Verstappen and Hamilton.
Verstappen will have to push like crazy, I'm sure, over the next 21 laps. He's got to get if he wants to win this race.
I think I've seen the tactic, Charlie. Battle forecast chasing Bottas will catch Verstappen in 2 laps, according to AWS. Have Red Bull left Perez out? Perez radio.
So you've got 10 laps longer on your stint than we told you we were going to run in the morning.
Right, so Perez. I wonder if Red Bull's left Perez out, Charlie, to possibly cause some air like this turbulence for Hamilton and maybe slow him down a bit. But Hamilton has the fastest lap in his hands at the moment, but Bottas has done the fastest sector 2 and has just done the fastest lap of the race as well. Oh, who's that? Is that Sergio Perez getting held up by a back marker? I think it is. Yes, it is. It was one of the Haas's. So far, Charlie, no drivers have been under investigation this afternoon. Been a relatively quiet afternoon for the stewards, touchwood. Yeah, he rather did get held up. Right, that has Mazepin, Charlie, nearly hits Sergio Perez. I said the stewards have had a quiet afternoon. That's penalty worthy for Nikita Mazepin.
Oh, Nikita Mazepin's had another issue with another driver.
It's another Mazepin moment, and Perez had to lock up to avoid contact with the Haas. He had 5 blue flags as well, Charlie.
Oh. Probably going to be a penalty for Nikita Mazepin for ignoring blue flags.
He's now got Hamilton behind him as well, and we all know how Hamilton doesn't like drivers who don't get out of the way. And he does nicely let Lewis through that time. And Lewis Hamilton also got DRS as well, Charlie. So that would have gained a few seconds on Hamilton, over Verstappen, wouldn't it? 3.8 seconds. So that gap is coming down between Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yeah, 3.8. Verstappen and they're at the top 4, all in back markers at the moment in the traffic. Or traffic paradise, as Yuki Tsunoda called it.
Bottas is also closing the gap to Verstappen. Just over 2 seconds, that gap now. The top 4 all separated, Charlie, by under 10 seconds at the moment. I tell you what, if Red Bull are leaving Perez out there to hold up Hamilton and back him into Verstappen, then they're not doing a bad job, is Perez.
No. I know.
But he is going to come out in 5th, is Perez, when he pits. But legally he has to pit, so we can't go to the end of the race. He does legally have to pit. We've been told Perez will be going plan 8 plus 10, so that means you'll be going 10 laps longer than we told you in the morning brief, Norris Radio.
Yeah, just have a drive. I'm flat out, so I'll do what I can.
And Norris saying he's doing what he can to keep Leclerc behind, but that gap between Lando and Charles is coming down.
Leclerc must have fresher tyres than McLaren.
Yeah. Do you think though, Charlie, with when Hamilton does come across Checo, he's just going to be a sitting duck on those old tyres. Hamilton on the fresh hards.
Yes. Perez is struggling on the hard, on his medium.
Hamilton 1.2 seconds quicker than Checo on the last lap alone.
I don't understand why Red Bull haven't pitted him.
I think the whole idea, Charlie, is he's going to try and hold Hamilton up as much as he can.
Verstappen, though, isn't closing that quickly on him at the moment.
He's not really, but Hamilton's still 3 seconds ahead of the Red Bull driver. As Ricciardo overtakes Gasly and goes up to 9th position. Started 16th. Charlie Daniel's been on the overtake manoeuvres all afternoon.
Ricciardo not really making much inroads at the moment.
He's up into 9th, Charlie, and he's about... What would that be? Right, Perez and Mazepin is under investigation, Charlie, for ignoring blue flags.
Nikita Mazepin in the Haas will probably get a penalty for that, I'm afraid, for ignoring blue flags.
So what happens is, Charlie, Daniel Ricciardo tries the outside at turn 5. Pierre Gasly outbrakes himself, goes deep, and Daniel Ricciardo does the switcheroo up to turn 6.
Yep. Classic Daniel Ricciardo move.
It is, Charlie. You're right. I don't actually quite know what as Alonso goes past Gasly and Alonso's up to 10th, Charlie. Into the points. I don't quite know what the punishment would be. Hamilton Radio. I don't know what the penalty would be, Charlie. I'm guessing it will be a 5. I'm guessing it could be as much as a 10-second time penalty for Nikita Mazepin. but he's 2 laps down. It's not going to make much difference what penalty he gets. He's not getting this race.
No, he's well down the field, isn't he? Nikita Mazepin in the house. But going over the Hamilton now only 1.4 behind Perez. Perez will be a sitting duck, I should imagine, on his old set of mediums.
Yep, and Hamilton will also get that DRS as well. So far this season, there's a 100% chance of a safety car going into Barcelona based on the results of this season, on this twisty-turvy start to the season that we've had.
Just to let you know, Barcelona as well, the turn 10 has been upgraded.
It has, Charlie, you're right. We've had a safety car on every single opening lap of this season. I wonder how long that will last. So Hamilton was well over a second quicker than Perez last time around, and he now is within DRS range. Perez being told he's going longer as they rise up the hill. Hamilton's getting DRS. Perez is a sitting duck. Hamilton is going to get the move done into turn 1, and Hamilton retakes the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix with a helping of DRS. Hamilton gets past Sergio Perez, who hasn't pitted yet. Those
mediums on Perez,
Charlie,
aging,
are falling off the cliff now for Sergio Perez.
I mean, Perez has done a great stint on him, but I mean, he's just compromising him. That
Perez had stopped and he was a back marker, and he was told, "No, you're racing him. He's yet to stop." I was wondering why I wasn't getting blue flags.
Wow.
That incident between Mazepin and Perez is still under investigation by the stewards, by the way. As Alonso goes round the outside of Daniel Ricciardo into turn 1. Fernando Alonso really hasn't lost his overtaking skills, has he, Charlie, in that Alpine this afternoon. And Perez is being told to box.
Yeah, and I think Perez is certainly going to be... Yeah, I think Perez has gone in, has pitted now.
Right, so there's 15 laps to go, and Perez finally makes his way into the pits. It's going to be the soft compound tyres, Charlie.
So Perez on the training for the softs.
So Bottas, Charlie, is really closing in now on Max Verstappen.
Yes, Bottas really starting to close up. Perez onto the softs. I knew this was going to happen for Sergio.
Charlie, can he get? He's got to claim back about 20 seconds, Charlie, in about 14 laps. That's surely not possible to get past
Probably
Bottas.
Not. Unless Perez has got the pace to do it.
Right, Charlie. Nikita Mazepin has been handed a 5-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags at turn 3. Not much of a surprise there, is there?
No, Nikita Mazepin has been given a penalty for ignoring blue flags.
Right, Hamilton's pulled a 5-second gap over Max Verstappen. If it stays this way, Hamilton will take a 9-point lead going into Barcelona next week. But Verstappen is being chased down by Valtteri Bottas, and it's going to be drivers for you. If you want to vote for your driver of the day, go to www.f1.com/vote and pick your favourite driver who you think should be getting driver of the day. The vote closes at the end of this race. That's at the checkered flag. Bottas is still about 1.2 seconds away from the Red Bull
Hold on. We've lost Jack there. Sorry, guys, we've lost Jack for the moment. We'll be back in a minute.
Right, let's remove him. We add him. Let's send him back on. No, that's a stream. Charlie, you're back. I think you had a technical issue. Charlie.
Yeah, I think I wasn't. I think my end was actually quite fine. One of our ends had yeah, one of us broke down slightly, but we're back. The old internet went down there.
Old internet letting us down for a few seconds, but anyway, not much really happened apart from Gasly is now really close to the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Well, he's within DRS range, but he is going to be a bit too far back. Is he going into turn one to get the move done? Yes, he is. By the way, it will be Lewis Hamilton's 99th race victory, a 98th race victory, I think. Sorry, if he can get victory today for Verstappen Radio. And Verstappen being told his times are strong, but they haven't been strong on this lap. They've been a bit slow, but Bottas, he's dropped right back. He's now 3.4 seconds behind now, 9 seconds behind. What's happened to Valtteri Bottas, Charlie? He's now 4 seconds behind. He's dropped.
Bottas made a mistake here?
He's now 4.3. He's going up, Charlie. I wonder if Bottas is losing power. Oh no, Charlie.
Oh.
Bottas reporting a loss of power. He's very slow indeed, Charlie.
Can Bottas make it back to the pits, or is he going to have to retire the car?
He was a second and a half down on his teammate Max Verstappen in the first sector alone. Oh, and Yuki Tsunoda's gone straight on. Let's have a listen.
So he was behind Yuki Tsunoda when Tsunoda went off the track in the AlphaTauri.
It looks like he's got that power back, Charlie, because he's carried on.
Oh, that's good. Must have been a little issue with his sensor.
It was in 8th gear. It was in 8th gear down the pit straight.
Was there an issue with the downshift or something?
I'm positive pit. So the temperature sensor, Charlie, having a bit of an issue there, or an error. Charlie's frozen again. Bottas Radio.
Really, wow.
And on the exhaust, Charlie, an error. That is a heart in mouth moment for if you're a racing driver when you start losing power like that.
Brake must have got his tyre.
Only Alfa Romeo in this race is going to try and go round the outside, is he? Yes, he is going to go to the outside at turn one. Around the outside of Sebastian Vettel and into 12th place. We've got 10 to go.
With Antonio Giovinazzi that was just overtaking Sebastian Vettel there.
Portimao. The race has kind of fizzled out a bit now, hasn't it, really, Charlie? It's more midfield scraps that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So Perez got fastest lap on the last lap by about 0.3 of a second over Lewis Hamilton. Considering he's on the soft tyres, Charlie, he should be going much faster, shouldn't he?
Yeah, Perez is not getting his softs fired up as well as we all thought.
He's still 23.5 seconds behind. Valtteri Bottas in third, who did have that slight glitch coming out of turn 3. Right. So Alonso in 9th is now within DRS range of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He can't quite do it though. Can Fernando Alonso. And Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin also having a bit of a battle as well, Charlie. That's for 17th.
Two Hasses having a battle, the rear of the field.
Honestly, Charlie, when we go to Spain next week, that will be Alonso's home race as well.
It will be, yes, it'll be Fernando Alonso's home race. Not sure on the race in terms of whether fans will be permitted. I don't quite know.
No, it's a behind closed doors event, unfortunately, Charlie.
Yep, so it'll be behind closed doors next weekend in Spain. We'll still put on a great race for you, though.
We will, I'm sure, Charlie. Right, Mick Schumacher is really getting close to the back of, who would that be? Nicholas Latifi, the Canadian, who put out a message saying he's really disappointed that we can't go racing at Montreal this year, but obviously safety first in Formula One, as always. Right, Schumacher is within the DRS now of Nicholas Latifi, but he's still, Charlie, just that little bit too far back. But Fernando Alonso goes round the outside at turn 1 of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz.
Alonso's having a really strong race today in the Alpine.
He gets a round of applause from his Alpine crew as well. Schumacher is going to try the outside at turn 5. Mick Schumacher showing his racy moves, but he couldn't quite get it round the outside of the Williams at turn 5, Charlie.
Yeah.
And that's Haas, Charlie.
Speed as well. Alonso now into the top 10.
That Haas looking pretty racy with the Williams.
It is. There's Mick Schumacher as well that we're just keeping an eye on.
And now he's had to back off, Charlie, because he's got blue flags as Mick Schumacher. That's rather ruined that battle. It does really compromise you, doesn't it, if you get blue flags? But the Latifi's going to also get those blue flags. Remember, as I said earlier, you can vote for your driver of the day, f1.com/vote. It's getting to that time in the race where you just want to get your card to the end. Hamilton's got a nice, comfortable victory now. The 7-time world champion is showing that he's still got it in him. He's about 5 seconds clear, but that Red Bull, Charlie, is still very, very competitive. Bottas race.
It is. It's getting there now. Verstappen 5 seconds off, and we have about 7 to go.
Bottas saying again, Charlie, that he is losing power on the straights.
Oh, God. Because obviously, Valtteri Bottas has got an issue in that Mercedes.
Just... It was 292 kilometers an hour, Charlie, which is about the same as Max Verstappen's top speed down the straight. So it's not too shy, is it?
No, but I don't know what the issue with Bottas's car is. I don't know whether he's got an issue with like his speedometer or something, or he's got an issue with his sensor.
He had an issue with his rear exhaust temperature sensor.
Oh, that's probably what's causing the issues for his Mercedes.
It shouldn't trouble him not finishing the race, Charlie, is what I'm also hearing. As Vettel gets past his Aston Martin teammate of Lance Stroll, who haven't had the best start to their Formula One campaign, have they, Aston Martin?
Oh, what a huge shame.
So is that Perez, is it? No, that's Verstappen with Bottas chasing him. It does look slow, Charlie, when it's going down the straights, the Mercedes car number 77. It does look a bit slow compared to the Red Bull. But Hamilton clearly isn't experiencing any issues because he is still matching Bottas' radio. Valtteri saying if they push hard, they might get the opportunity for the fastest lap stop.
Well, I think Bottas probably focusing on getting that rather than competing with Verstappen because he's now dropping well behind the Dutchman.
He is, Charlie.
It's over 5 seconds behind now as well.
They're thinking about the fastest lap stop, Charlie, to go onto the soft tyres and then maybe do the fastest lap. Right. Mick Schumacher is now back within the DRS range of the Williams, and we've got 5 to go now at Portimao. I think it's Charlie. They've now got Hamilton bearing down on them, and all of the leading guys has Mick Schumacher's speed, so his battle might well get interrupted again. As they go towards the hairpin. It's not quite like the Imola Classic that we saw last week, but it's still a fairly entertaining race.
Entertaining race. Still been a decent race for people.
Especially Perez radio. Yes, he is about 5 seconds ahead of Perez. So, but Bottas on that new set of softs, Charlie. Bottas being told the wind is also picking up out there, so definitely don't want to be making any mistakes with about 1.5 laps to go, do you, Charlie?
No.
2 laps to go.
It's very, very important to get this lap in for Valtteri Bottas.
Right, Daniel Ricciardo is going to be going again on Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz covers the inside. Daniel Ricciardo goes to the outside and gets the job done before the braking zone. And Ricciardo is back up into 9th. And Verstappen is also coming in, Charlie, to try and get that fastest lap.
So we're kicking off down at Mercedes and at Red Bull with the fastest lap.
It's a sub 2 second stop as well for Red Bull, Charlie.
Wow, Red Bull
1.9 second, a sub 2 second stop.
Red Bull have done really well with their pit stops this season.
Of the Portuguese Grand Prix. He's got a 30-second gap now, Charlie, has Hamilton. It would have been too risky, wouldn't it, getting these tyres up to temperature?
Yeah. We've got to keep an eye on the lap times for Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen as well.
And Lewis Hamilton, Charlie, has only failed to not score points 9 times for Mercedes.
Wow. Shows you
Sainz is out of the points as well, Charlie. Sainz has just been overtaken by Gasly and is now out of the points as Valtteri Bottas does the fastest lap. Hamilton then is coming through turn 9 and on to the turn 10 section through turn 11. He's won once here before at Portimao. He's going to keep up his record of becoming the only F1 driver to win at Portimao, where he took his 92nd race victory. He's coming up to taking his 98th. Hamilton rounds turn 14. And he's had a cracking afternoon. He's overtaken his teammate. He's overtaken Verstappen. He rises up the hill and wins the Portuguese Grand Prix at Portimao. Hamilton extends his championship lead to 8 points at the top of the standings. An incredible afternoon for the 7-time world champion. And that is a huge step in his quest to the 8. As Verstappen comes round the final corners as well, can Verstappen take a point away from Lewis Hamilton with the fastest lap as he comes over the line? Can he do it? Yes, he can. Verstappen takes the fastest lap in second. Bottas comes home in third, so 6 points is the gap at the top. Charlie, the epic battle will roll on to Spain next week. And 6 points separates our drivers. Hamilton looks absolutely delighted.
Yeah, Hamilton dominating today's race. Mercedes clearly, and Lewis Hamilton dominating. Max Verstappen will probably be pleased with second place after a difficult qualifying for Red Bull, who didn't really show that much pace all over the weekend.
No, you're right, Charlie. A very, very what a drive, say Mercedes they've just tweeted at Lewis Hamilton wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. Yes, they are very much right. What a race this afternoon, Charlie.
Yes, big winners of the race was actually Alpine, 7th and 8th for them. That's a great haul of points for Alpine.
You're right, Charlie. And Hamilton's
and
won for
Fernando Alonso, really strong drive from him.
At Portimao.
And they looked like they were going to win today, didn't they? Looked like they had it covered. Off the front row, of course, Max Verstappen very much.
And the Mercedes, Charlie, are doing what they usually do, driving round side by side. Verstappen radio. And Verstappen relatively happy with the second place, Charlie. Was that on track the best that they could do today?
Yeah, I agree. I think Hamilton and the Mercedes were too strong for them today.
So you got your prediction right, Charlie. You said Hamilton would win. He certainly did. And Charlie's just frozen. Never since you made that pit stop and got past Perez, it never looked in doubt, did it?
No, I think Hamilton just dominated the race today. He clearly looked very strong. I know Verstappen overtook him early on, but Hamilton read the strategy well and just drove a fantastic race on the hard tyres.
I know earlier we said it was his 98th race win. It's actually his 97th, so we do apologise for that. 97th race victory. As he climbs out of that car, he'll climb out to race winner for the 97th time. Potentially, Charlie, he could potentially, Charlie, take his 100th race victory at Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
He could take his 100th pole around the streets of Monaco if he doesn't get pole next week.
Yeah. Just to let you know on the dates. Just to let you know on the dates for the next races, we're just getting out now. Next weekend we head to Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix. 20th to the 23rd will then be 2 weeks later the Monaco Grand Prix, and then of course early June we will be going to Azerbaijan for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and then in place of Canada we will have the Turkish Grand Prix at round 7.
We will, Charlie, and then we will go to the Castellet in France, Austria in Spielberg, and Spielberg in Austria, and then Silverstone. Then we go to Hungary, and then we will go on a 4-week summer break before we return at Spa-Francorchamps on the last weekend of August. The annual summer break, Charlie, back in its normal position this year.
Yeah. Just as well as that, for the British Grand Prix, Brazilian Grand Prix, and also Italian Grand Prix, there will be a sprint qualifying format as well on the Saturday.
You're right, Charlie, there will. So, 97th race victory for Lewis Hamilton. We will be hearing from our top three very, very shortly. Let's see what. But first of all, let's see your reaction. If you tweet us, hashtag Portuguese Grand Prix. I'm going to read a few of them out now. It's just loading. How long is it going to be? Come on, hurry up. All right. What a drive. Same Mercedes, both cars in the points. Same McLaren. Yes. Very much.
Then you made a small mistake at turn 14.
Red Bull have the faster car, looks like Verstappen ahead of Bottas to me. Mercedes simply have the best driver. Yes, whoever said that, Stephen Miller, you are very, very correct.
Overall, so Lewis got by again, and
bit of a tactical error by Mercedes pitting Bottas fastest lap. We're just going to hear from Verstappen now.
But yeah, I think once we settled in second, you could clearly see around here we were lacking a bit of pace compared to them. But still, second fast lap in the last lap.
Well, I think you've been deleted for track limits at turn 14, right at the end. So,
okay.
I mean, it's aggressive to go for it. The good thing is it didn't go to Lewis. It obviously went to Valtteri, who took it the lap before you. Did you feel like you were outside the track limits when you did it?
Oh, that's a bit odd, because they were not checking track limits.
And sorry, we've just heard some news that Verstappen's fastest lap has been deleted for track limits at turn 14. So fastest lap going back to Valtteri Bottas. We'll hand you back over to Portugal now.
I think not on top of it here, but we'll see again what we can do in Barcelona.
Congratulations for the momentum. On to the next one.
I'm going to hear from Valtteri Bottas.
I think you're going to be pretty pumped for that.
There's Hamilton first.
Absolutely textbook. I mean, you lost out to Max right at the restart, but then you managed to get the position back and onto the next one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was such a tough race. Physically and mentally, just keeping everything together. It was very windy out there, obviously, so it's very easy to put a foot wrong. And just didn't quite get as good a start as Valtteri, and then lost out on the restart, which was not good. I was not happy about that naturally, and I really had to try and position myself the best I could. And I can't remember. I think Max made a mistake at some point through the lap, which was like perfect, and I knew that was going to be the lap that I would be as close as I could to him in the last sector. And then with Valtteri, I had to make the move early on before the tires were destroyed, and managed to just get in turn one, just right on limit. That's a great race.
I know you relish the challenge of people and opposition pushing you all the way. What does the next 4 days look like for you heading to Spain? Because it's a very different year where Red Bull will be this close.
Yeah. I think it's the next few days we head back home for just a couple of days, and it's about recovery, a lot of physio. Angela will be with me, and just recovering and get yourself back, turn around as quick as possible for the next one. And not a lot of kind of debrief. Obviously, a lot to download from today. There's improvements that we can make, and today wasn't all perfect. So we look at those areas, and we'll try and turn over the stones.
25 points, well earned. Congratulations.
Now we're going to hear from Valtteri Bottas.
Obviously, P3. I know you would have wanted more. You got the fastest lap because Max's last lap got deleted. How did your race go?
It was tricky day to day. I don't know really what happened in the first stint. Just didn't have the pace for unknown reasons. So I need to have a look at that. But afterwards, I think the second stint was pretty good, but a bit of an issue with some sensor or something, so I couldn't really get much.
Like you say, why did the car become better when it was kind of on half time, so you were able to push on, and even Toto Wolff on the radio even giving you that extra push?
Sorry, I couldn't do it.
Why did the car feel different when it was at half fuel load? It seemed like when the fuel burned off, you had the fastest race car.
I don't know really. I mean, overall we've had a strong package today, and I don't really know why in the first stint it didn't work. We need to look at that, but otherwise.
Only a few days to wait to the next Grand Prix. Well done.
So, Charlie, whilst those interviews came in, we just received some news from the FIA that Verstappen's fastest lap has been deleted for track limits at turn 14. So, handing the fastest lap back to Valtteri Bottas. So, Hamilton has an 8-point lead at the top of the championship.
Yeah, just a little change there. But Hamilton now leads 8 points going into Spain next week. Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona hosting the next round.
And some brilliant racing as well, Charlie. Just a few days until we go again with practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday, and then the race itself, the Spanish Grand Prix, next Sunday. And the races come thick and fast now, don't they, Charlie?
They do, Jack. Literally 1 week ago felt like, or 2 weeks ago felt like yesterday. It has gone really quick. And we will honestly keep you informed of all the latest news from Formula One.
So I think we have a week. We go to Spain next week. We then have a week and a half off because of the Monaco practice. Obviously takes place a day earlier than usual because they go to meet the Prince Albert on the Friday. So Monaco practice takes place a day early. So we have a week and a half off after Spain. We then have 2 weeks off after Monaco, and we'll head to Azerbaijan. Then a week later, we will head to Turkey. So, but it's now time for the podium celebrations.
Cheering.
And so Valtteri Bottas makes his way to the podium. The podium looks fantastic here at Portimao, Charlie. And the second place of Max Verstappen off the Netherlands, making his way up the stairs and onto the podium for the third time this season. But for the second time this season, Lewis Hamilton makes his way to the top spot, and in his honour, we will now hear the British and the German national anthems.
Second win of the season stands at the top step once more.
British and German national anthems being played at the top of the podium at Portimao for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. And as Hamilton gets presented for the 123rd consecutive race, Lewis Hamilton leads the championship. And he's saying, what are you doing to his team? As he gets handed a lovely Heineken trophy, he raises it up in the air and points to all his team in delight, Charlie. The Constructors' champion trophy from Mercedes, as it's lifted up in the air by their engineer. And then Max Verstappen will get presented with his second place trophy. It's a slightly smaller second place trophy, but the winner's trophy looking fabulous, as it always does at a Formula One Grand Prix. Verstappen gets presented, Valtteri Bottas, he gets presented with his third place trophy. Now you know what time it's for, the champagne. The champagne sprays, Charlie, the glitter flies. It's a Hamilton masterclass once more at Portimao. We will see you next Saturday at 2 o'clock for qualifying at Spain when Formula One returns.